This next video is about freaking Comedy Central. Have you guys ever laughed? I know. Loomis is so funny. He should have his own TV show on Comedy Central. Don't put that part in. Sorry. I don't want to burn the bridge that I haven't built yet. Tune in live to see me burn the bridges I haven't built yet. How Comedy Central became irrelevant. Freaking documentary, dude. Only 10 minutes. Some documentary, dude. That's a freaking documentary size I could stomach. I never really watched a ton of Comedy Central, but it was always around, dude. It's freaking Carlos Mencia was on there. And some other funny guys. I don't know.
Used to be one of the biggest risk takers on...
Wait, hold on. Who did?
Hold up.
Also, this is by the Lost episode. Shouts out.
Comedy Central used to be one of the biggest risk takers on network television, bringing us South Park, Chappelle's Show, Tosh.0, and countless other quality programs. Nowadays, it's constant reruns of what used to make the channel great, resulting in the loss of over 30 million households since 2011. So, to understand how Comedy Central has fallen this far, we have to start by heading back to the early 90s.
I think it's probably because you can't make jokes anymore. Am I right, guys? Things are just simply too woke. Has this opinion been expressed online in recent memory? I don't know. That's probably not it.
Baba Booey.
You couldn't make a TV station like this today.
Comedy Central launched in 1991, born of an unlikely partnership between HBO and Viacom. See, in 1990, these two networks were battling it out, HBO with the Comedy Channel and Viacom with Ha. But with such a small audience in what was already considered to be a niche space, the two decided to end their rivalry, merging to create Comedy Central.
I'm broke.
Now, you'd think with two multi-million-dollar companies behind it, they wouldn't have problems gaining momentum. However, Comedy Central massively struggled. Turns out, people weren't sold on the idea of a channel solely airing comedy 24 hours a day. And honestly, their first impression didn't help this. To fill the entire catalog...
I mean, who wants to laugh at like 2 in the after... Well, that's a pretty good time. Wait. Who wants to laugh at like 2 a.m.? I guess that's pretty good. People could be drunk or high or sleepy, vulnerable in some way. Let the giggles in. Okay, I get it. Who wants to laugh at like dinner time? There's no bad time to laugh. What are you talking about? Comedy Central, great idea. Can't lose.
Endless reruns of stand-up specials and sitcoms. The only standout originals were Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Short Attention Span Theater, both of which were fun, but still just clever ways to recycle stand-up and movie clips by having comedians react to them.
Hey, you come here often? Hey, kick those skis up. Give me a foot. There you go.
Sounds like some quality content, am I right?
Plenty of room up on top. Here you go.
Dude, I watched Mystery Science Theater for the first time pretty recently. I forget what movie they were watching in the movie. It's a very confusing concept. You think it wouldn't be for someone literally reacting to a video right now, making a video? Shouts out to me. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Brain blast. But yeah, they're like the original reactors, dude. They would just talk over the movie. None of their jokes are funny. They're all like stupid shit that you like can't even process as a joke because you've probably heard it before. At least that's how I remember it. It's like boomer content before content was called that.
Comedy Central was slowly building an audience though, and in 1993 everything would change. Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher was their first big hit, a late night talk show tackling current issues with a wide variety of guests.
Well, Americans have a curious set of standards when it comes to safety. Skydiving, rock climbing, and bungee jumping are all permitted with few restrictions. And yet there are strict laws about wearing a seatbelt in a car and a helmet on a motorcycle. Now, isn't there something perverse about asking regular Americans to wear a seatbelt on the way over to a sports bar to watch Robbie Knievel jump the fountain at Caesar's Palace?
You're calling me perverse? No, I don't think there is.
The show pulled in a huge audience, and for the first time ever, Comedy Central had an identity. Edgy, thought-provoking comedy. The network kept experimenting with new shows, like Viva Variety and Dr. Kat's Professional Therapist. These did go on to be cult classics, but far from mainstream hits. However, in 1996, they struck gold yet again, though no one realized it at the time. The Daily Show premiered, a satirical news program which quickly found a loyal audience. While the show became a staple, it wouldn't explode until Jon Stewart took over in 1999. But before that, something even bigger was coming. Something that would truly cement Comedy Central's place in TV history forever.
Rob Dyrdek's ridiculousness. Wait, no, that's not him. Sorry, I always get this guy confused. It's Family Guy. Oh, don't listen to this song!
1997, the first ever episode of South Park would air. A crude, low-budget cartoon about 4 foul-mouthed kids from Colorado. Now, no one thought this would work, but it somehow took the world by storm, and this was just the beginning. In 1999, The Daily Show evolved. Jon Stewart took over as host, shifting it from goofy headlines to sharp political satire. It became a trusted news source for a generation, while also being genuinely funny.
I was not elected to serve one party.
You were not elected.
Owned! Fucking owned! I don't get it! He was elected, I thought! I don't know.
Not everything was highbrow, though. That same year, they aired The Man Show, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla. Looking back today, it had some pretty controversial moments, but back then, people were absolutely obsessed with it.
I don't like seeing Jimmy Kimmel as what is supposed to represent a human person. I don't like this natural scenario of him with the, with the hose. This looks so alien, so what do you call it? Just like theatrical. What they're trying to fool me. You're not real.
Ask 100 women to sleep with you, one is bound to say yes. Now, although I'm a
Jimmy,
married man,
please.
my first love has always been science, and my second love is cheating.
Jimmy, please. I know. We know.
Dane Cook, Zach Galifianakis.
I don't know, but Jimmy, shut up.
And way too many more comedians to count. One of the best, rising star Dave Chappelle. In fact, his partnered special with HBO was so beloved, he was offered his own show in 2003. Now, The Chappelle Show wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural phenomenon. By blending sketch comedy and social commentary, the show gave us so many moments that became part of pop culture history.
Did you guys watch The Chappelle Show much as a kid? I freaking probably caught a few episodes, but I was never like a religious watcher. A consistent watcher.
Show television tennis. Rick James.
What's going on here?
You'd think this was peak, but Comedy Central was on an untouchable run. That same year, Reno 911 debuted and roast became a staple, pulling in huge names like Pam Anderson, Flava Flav, even William Shatner.
Bill,
All the funniest people I can fucking think of.
Just brilliant and old and fat. You're an inspiration. You prove that having no talent can be seen as hip and ironic.
But when we got to 2005, the network stumbled upon their biggest...
Roasts are not funny. I don't know if that's a hot take
Stephen
or not.
Colbert took his persona from The Daily Show and was given his own spin-off, The Colbert Report. This was a brilliant parody of conservative talk shows that immediately found a massive audience.
Whatever Republican is going to replace Obama will need 3 things: vision, leadership, and enough cash to make up for not having vision or leadership.
Things were going incredible, but behind the scenes,
Sorry, I just wanted to take a breather from that.
executives were making questionable moves. They acquired the rights to more sitcoms like Scrubs, Arrested Development, trying to give viewers a balance between comfort food and originals. Little did we know, this comfort programming would eventually lead to their downfall. But for now, Comedy Central wasn't just successful, they were on top of the world. South Park, The Daily Show, roasts, stand-ups, this was the golden age. And the wildest part, they hadn't even peaked yet.
Hello, Loomis. Goodbye, Loomis.
By the early 2010s, Comedy Central's flagship shows were pulling in millions of viewers every week. But they didn't lean on the giants. The network continued to double down on original programming. In 2009, Tosh.0 premiered, and at first a lot of people wrote it off as another internet clip show. However, Daniel Tosh's brutal commentary and quick wit turned the show into one of the network's biggest hits.
That guy is huge.
That guy is rather big.
Yet he'll still find a way to take up a whole lane. He also has the world's tiniest case of testicular...
This is Rob Dyrdek's Funny Factory. Funny Factory. Funny Meme Factory.
Skits, characters, and out of all the programming on the channel, Key and Peele lives on the most today with social media. But during this same time, stand-up remained a cornerstone too. The era had so many iconic specials, from Kevin Hart to John Mulaney, even Amy Schumer's breakout.
And the way that these girls keep themselves skinny is awful, isn't it? By vomiting or using hard drugs, which I can't afford, so...
And Amy's special actually led to her getting her own show called Inside Amy Schumer. The ratings went through the roof. Same with Broad City, Drunk History, the list of hits went on. But then a sudden announcement in 2014 shook the network. Stephen Colbert revealed he was leaving to replace David Letterman on The Late Show. Fans were devastated, so Comedy Central scrambled to pivot by replacing his time slot with The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore. But it never captured that same audience, with the show being canceled after just 2 seasons. Only a year later, and another gut punch punch for the network. As if losing Colbert wasn't enough, Jon Stewart announced he was stepping down from The Daily Show after 17 years.
Doug Herzog, Michelle Gainless of Comedy Central gave me an incredible opportunity 17 years ago to pilot this wonderful franchise. And 17 years is the longest I have ever in my life held a job by 16 years and 5 months.
Now, Trevor Noah came in.
What is his job? Be funny news guy? I hope he was good at the news part, because, geez. Just playing. I guess their network fell off when they lost all the funny news anchors? What the fuck?
Solid replacement, but viewership dropped, and many longtime fans never returned. But despite all the setbacks, Comedy Central still had a strong lineup. Workaholics, Inside Amy Schumer, Key and Peele. But as the decade went on, a quiet shift began that fans didn't see coming. Random cancellations of beloved shows, including Taj.0 and Drunk History, which already had new seasons announced.
Oh, God. I fucking hate that show, too. I can't lie. I'm a hater. Maybe I just, I don't really think people should laugh past a certain point in their lives.
Fans were pissed.
What's the point?
But Comedy Central had a new, bigger vision, and that was animation. Execs believed it would offer cheaper production, longer syndication life, and global appeal. However, without the originals and stand-up specials that built the channel's legacy, it started to lose its soul, quietly marking the beginning of the end.
Is that like the music video equivalent for MTV? People always cite, like, when they stopped playing music videos as their downfall starting. When they got rid of the comedy and went more to the left, more like comedy woke troll, more like comedy leftist communism central. Am I right, guys? I don't know.
As we moved into the late 2010s, things started to quickly unravel. Comedy Central had been built on taking risks, but now their big new plan was reboots. Revivals of Beavis and Butthead, Ren and Stimpy, a Daria spinoff. It was clear they were trying to cash in on nostalgia, but in reality, it didn't work at all. None of these recaptured the magic, and worse, they were the reason so many loved shows got canceled. Meanwhile, stand-up has slowed down too, and a roast hasn't been aired since 2019. With everything else fading, The Daily Show was their last
some
true
good
hope,
news,
right?
No more roasts. After the 7 years, my time is up. Yeah, but in the most beautiful way. Honestly, I've loved hosting this show. It's been one of my greatest challenges. It's been one of my greatest joys.
I might be being manipulated by the scary music.
I've loved trying to figure out how to make people laugh, even when the stories are particularly shitty on the worst days.
No, he's pissed.
We've laughed together, we've cried together.
Trevor Noah, who had spent years rebuilding The Daily Show's audience, announced he was stepping away. The show had already taken a hit in viewership before, but this felt like the final nail in the coffin. In fact, they lost 75% of their total audience. In 2014, over 2 million viewers tuned in each night. By 2022, they struggled to pull 500,000. And it did not stop there. Perhaps the hardest loss of all came with South Park. Comedy Central's crown jewel stopped airing new specials on the channel, and instead those went straight to streaming. If that wasn't bad enough, in their latest attempt to survive in the digital age, they've made their worst decision to date. The channel has become second screen friendly, meaning endless marathons of The Office, Seinfeld, Parks and Rec, content you could tune into at any moment without needing context. Essentially the same playbook MTV uses with ridiculousness. And just like that, a network that once took risks, launched legends, and changed comedy forever, reduced to nothing but reruns.
Damn, dude, I guess that makes sense, though. You gotta compete with the fucking internet, dude. Things move fast these days. No more freaking Tosh.0. He's got a YouTube channel. Does Comedy Central? I believe they do have a YouTube channel. All right, well, shout out to the lost episode. This was a good video.